They said you'd never make it, that you weren't good enough, smart enough, talented enough, and you carried that weight. You trained harder, worked longer, stayed up later, all to prove them wrong. But here's the truth, no one tells you. If you live your whole life just trying to prove them wrong, they're still in control. They're still the reason you move. Don't just run from their doubts. Run toward your own vision. Don't just prove them wrong. Prove yourself right. Write about your dreams. Write about your strength. Write about what you knew in your gut when no one else saw it. Because in the end, it was never about them. It was about you, believing yourself before the world ever caught up. They doubted you, didn't they? They looked at your dreams like they were too big, too wild, too unrealistic. They smiled politely when you spoke, but deep down, they were laughing. Who does he think he is? She's not cut out for this. They'll never make it. And maybe you didn't say anything in the moment. Maybe you stayed quiet, nodded your head, smiled back. But inside, something shifted. Not anger, not rage, not hate. Something deeper, a decision, a silent vow. I'll prove them wrong. You see, every legend, every success story, every unstoppable human you admire, they started right there. Not with applause, not with belief, but with doubt. No crowd cheering, no lights flashing, just silence and skepticism. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah was told she was unfit for TV. Eminem was laughed at because white guys can't rap. Elon Musk got told repeatedly, "Your ideas are impossible." But they didn't argue. They didn't debate. They didn't beg anyone to believe. They just got to work. Because when they said, "You can't," these people whispered back, "Watch me. Here's something you've got to understand. The people who doubt you, they're not evil. They're just limited. They've built fences around their own potential, and they're terrified when someone like you walks by without one. So they throw words like bricks. You're too old. You're too young. You're not experienced. You're not the type. People like you don't make it." But that's not your truth. That's their ceiling. And if you're not careful, their ceiling becomes your prison. Let me ask you something. How many dreams die because people listen to small minds with loud opinions? You weren't born to live inside someone else's limits. You were born to stretch your own. When we say prove them wrong, we're not just talking about success on paper. We're talking about rising when you fall. We're talking about showing up when no one's watching. We're talking about becoming the person they never saw coming. Not to rub it in their face, not to gloat, but to show you were never broken, just underestimated. Because proving them wrong isn't about revenge. It's about redemption. Redemption for every time you held your tongue. Redemption for every time you swallowed your dreams. Redemption for every second you felt like you weren't enough. You are. You always were. They just couldn't see it. Let's be real. This journey, it's lonely. You're going to have nights where it feels like the whole world is sleeping on you. Nights when the weight gets heavy. When you question if they were right. When quitting whispers a little louder than usual. That's when most people give up. That's when most people turn around. That's when they win. But you've got to keep going anyway, because success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most relentless. There will be pain. There has to be. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Every moment of discomfort is sharpening you. Every setback is preparing you. Every no is fuel for your yes. Pain is not the enemy. It's the passport. You must be willing to suffer, to be misunderstood, to be doubted, to be underestimated. Because when you make it, and you will, the pain becomes the proof. The scars become the story, and nobody can take that from you. Stop wasting your breath trying to convince people. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't defend. Let the results speak. When the work is done, when your name is known, when they can't ignore you anymore, they'll remember the one they doubted, and they'll wonder how they missed it. You don't need their validation. You need discipline. Let your focus be louder than their noise. Let your hustle be the conversation. But now I want to tell you something deeper. Yes, proving them wrong is powerful, but there's a bigger game at play here. Because if your only motivation is proving them wrong, they're still controlling your story. They still own space in your head. They still define your worth. So here's the real move. Don't just prove them wrong. Prove yourself right. You believed in something. You saw a vision. You felt a calling. You didn't need their permission then. Make it happen not to spite them, but to honor yourself. Honor the kid in you that dared to dream. Honor the voice in you that said, maybe I can. Honor the you that showed up anyway, scared but committed. Prove that voice right. One day, someone's going to look at your story, and they'll see the setbacks, the losses, the ridicule, but they'll also see the rise. And they'll whisper, if they did it, maybe I can too. That's your legacy, not just proving them wrong, but lighting a fire for someone else who's hearing the same doubts you once did. You become the proof that it's possible, the evidence that faith beats fear, the living, breathing answer to what if. You've come too far to stop now. You've survived too much to back down. This isn't the time to fold. This is the time to double down. They think you've peaked. Surprise them. They think you're finished. Level up. They think they know your limits. Shatter them. This is your moment. This is your fight. And this, right here, is where you rise. They said you wouldn't last a week chasing this dream, but little did they know, you've been surviving storms your whole life just to get here. Every time they told you to be realistic, what they really meant was stay small so we feel comfortable, but you were never built for average. They tried to box you in with their expectations, but you outgrew their limits the moment you stopped asking for permission to be great. Doubt isn't the end, it's the ignition, the silent spark that lights the fire in those who are brave enough to believe in their own potential. The ones who laughed at your goals will one day quote your words, share your story, and wonder how they didn't see your greatness sooner. You don't owe them an explanation. The results you're building in silence will scream loud enough when the time comes. They called it luck, but they weren't there for the late nights, the rejections, the self-doubt, and the discipline you kept when no one clapped for you. Every time they said, "You can't," you translated it as "try harder," and that mindset will take you further than talent ever could. People love to doubt what they don't understand. And if they don't understand your grind, that means you're on the right path. You're not rising to prove a point. You're rising because you finally remembered who you are, and that's more dangerous than they ever imagined. They saw your setbacks as failure, but you used every loss as a lesson, every scar as strategy, and every fall as fuel. One day, the very people who ignored you will pretend they supported you all along, but you'll remember who clapped when you were still crawling. They told you it's impossible, but what they really meant was, I couldn't do it, so you probably can't either. But that's not your story. You've got something they don't, the patience to fail, the heart to rise again, and the fire to keep going long after motivation fades. The ones who told you to play it safe are still stuck at the starting line, while you've been sprinting toward greatness with broken shoes and tired legs. When they said, "You're not the type to make it," they forgot the most dangerous person is the one with nothing to lose and everything to prove. There's power in silence. While they post, gossip, and doubt, you're stacking wins behind closed doors that'll soon speak for themselves. They thought they broke you, but all they did was trigger the version of you that doesn't ask. It takes. You didn't come this far to clap back at doubters. You came to outgrow them, outrun them, and outlast every single one of them. You'll know you've won when the people who once belittled your vision start asking how you did it. And you'll smile, knowing they helped build your fire. The real flex isn't proving them wrong once. It's becoming so consistent they run out of things to doubt. They gave you labels, limits, and lines to follow. But you're rewriting the rules in ink, made from every time they said no. You never needed their belief, just a crack of daylight, a little grit, and the stubbornness to show up when no one else would. You're not here to chase applause. You're here to chase destiny. And anyone who can't see that can watch from the sidelines. They bet against you because they thought you were alone, but they didn't realize you had something stronger than support, purpose. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them point and laugh and whisper and roll their eyes, because while they're busy talking, you'll be busy building. While they sleep on you, you'll be wide awake grinding. While they stay where they are, you'll be climbing step by step, inch by inch, until the view changes. And when you reach that mountaintop, you won't need to scream. You won't need to shout. You'll just stand tall, look around, and say quietly, I proved them wrong. And more importantly, I proved myself right.